What's up, everybody? It is Thursday, September 25th, 2025, and today we are going to be empowering Paducah. My name is Corey Evitts, and I am not a rock star. My name is Corey Evitts, and I am not a rock star. I am a caffeine junkie, licensed minivan operator, touring musician, and a proud American. Ride with me as I tour the greatest country on earth and talk to the real rock stars, our local legends, small town heroes, and those who bravely serve our country. And even though I'm not a rock star, I do live a pretty rock and roll life. This is it. This is America. This is the Not a Rock Star podcast. Yo, welcome back to Not a Rock Star with Corey Evitts. I am your host, Corey Evitts. And even though I'm not a rock star, we have a few rock stars that are going to be joining me today, starting with this guy, a true rock star. I'm going to let you introduce yourself to the fine people. So who are you?
I don't know if I'm quite a rock star, Corey, as much as I know how to party like a rock star.
No, he's a rock star. His name is Foster Stacy, and he is one of the dopest rock stars we have in this area. So I'm going to let Foster tell you about his business and what he does professionally, and then we are going to be telling you about an opportunity that you will have to help us help our community. So Foster, what do you do?
So I own and operate a company called Four Rivers Entertainment. We produce smaller to medium-sized events, raising money for just our local nonprofits and really anyone that approaches us and needs, help with anything in their daily lives. Also book the entertainment for Paducah Beer Works and brew beer over there.
And Foster is somebody that I really look up to, really admire. He is always working to help people in Western Kentucky. And I asked him about starting something with me probably the end of last year. We had that discussion. We talked about starting MPower Paducah. And what we do, we have a concert the last Monday of every month at Paducah Beer Works, and we feature two regional artists. And we're getting some of the best musicians in this entire region.
It's gone so well so far.
Man, it really has. So far, we've had Gina Catarano. We've had Wildflower Honey and the Hot Biscuits. We've had Matt Bosler, and we've had Maywind. And all four of those artists killed it. But coming up Monday night, okay, just in a few days, we are going to have Carson Denfit performing, and then we're going to have the Jake Myers Band, and we are going to raise money for area children and local veterans. So there's a $10 cover charge. 50% of that always goes to Starfish in Paducah, and they are making sure that money gets to children and to families. And then we always give the other 50% to a local veteran that has a need. So Foster, what would you like the people to know? What have you noticed maybe in our first two concerts that we've done? What are your thoughts?
Something I've noticed in the first two concerts is that you wouldn't expect it to be a very busy night with it being a Monday night. People have a lot going on, but what we're starting to realize is that people really want to help. They want to show that they have love. They want to show that there is kindness in this world. And I think we all know that, but it's really hard to, decipher what's being told to us these days and who we can trust and who we can't trust. But one thing that we do know is that there are community members that live in your city that want to be there for you. And I think that these Monday nights have really started to bring those people out, and it makes you feel like you're not alone in the world. You can see that you're actually helping people. You can see that there is tangible evidence of where the money is going. that there's transparency. And that's something that I think is very, very important these days.
And in addition to us trying to raise money to give to local children and families and area veterans, we're really just trying to build the kind of community that Foster just spoke of. I know Foster very well, and so I know he's going to agree with everything I'm about to say. We are upset with all of the division and the animosity going on in this country right now. We think that we need to come together. Of course, we need to debate the important issues, the hot button issues, but we really got to quit fighting each other, especially in our home communities. We need to be working together. So that is also a huge component of what we're trying to do. We're trying to build something once a month for everyone to come out to. And of course, we all have problems. We all have maybe issues at work or stresses. But we want people to feel welcome, accepted, regardless of whomever they're voting for, whatever their background is, what they look like. We just want to build that kind of community. And I want to brag on this guy because he is always working to give musicians a place to play. He is always working to impact our community. And Foster is everything I just described. He's the kind of guy that loves everyone and is always going out of his way to build our community. So I just want to thank you.
You see me.
For being so who you are,
Corey.
for being who you are.
You're so sweet. I'm not perfect, and I think everyone knows that. And we all have things that we do to help each other, and I just think it's important to do that and live by that. We can't just take everything at face these days, and it's really encouraging to hear that from you. As someone who is given everything you've got to do the same thing right now. And I really appreciate your partnership and you stepping up and saying, I want to do this. I want to do something about this. And I just think it's very, very, very important and encouraging to have you in that corner. So.
Well, I appreciate that, brother. And we are going to be featuring our MPower Paducah artists on this podcast. So typically a week or two before each MPower Paducah concert, we're going to have one of the artists that will be playing on this podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking to Jake Myers from the Jake Myers Band. But before Foster and I sign off here, one more time, can you tell people how to contact you if they want to partner with your company? Maybe they want help raising funds. How can they find you? How should they reach out?
Absolutely. So if you're ever wanting to do really anything with the company, you can reach me at Four Rivers Entertainment LLC at gmail.com. And that goes directly to me. And I check that daily. So if you have any ideas, something you think might be fun to do, we're always just open ears and happy to help. So give us a call.
And make sure you support Paducah Beer Works. I do want to say this too. Not only are they opening up on a Monday, they're typically closed on Monday. So they're coming in fully staffed to make sure that these events go smoothly. Paducah Beer Works provides a tremendous place for local artists to play. It's very friendly to local musicians, very accommodating. They have tremendous food. Now, I don't drink. I can't speak to that, but I watch everybody else drink, and they must have great beer.
Seems like they enjoy it.
Yeah, I have watched Foster brew before, and it is very fascinating, and he clearly knows what he's doing. But they have great products, a great staff, and if you're a person that just wants to support local artists, support Paducah Beer Works because they are lifting up our local artists. So, all right, well, we're going to sign off, and Toby is going to show you a few folks talking about MPower Paducah, and then I will be right back with Jake Myers. Thank you, brother. I love you, Foster.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, Corey.
Hi, everybody. Mayor George Bray. I'm here at Paducah Beer Works.
We're normally closed on Monday nights, but we're opening up special just for this.
What a cool opportunity to come to Paducah Beer Works with MPower Paducah and be able to have a great time and hear great music, support a local business, and help out a nonprofit.
Guys, we're pumped about MPower Paducah.
We're going to be helping veterans, we're going to be helping area children, and we're going to be booking the most talented musicians in our region the last Monday of every month.
Come and check it out. Get out on a Monday night, have some fun.
Have fun, do good. It's a good way to show your support for the community and local businesses and local musicians. You should be here.
MPower Paducah, don't miss it. Thanks a lot. We'll see you here.
All right, so why don't you introduce yourself to the fine people?
Well, I'm Jacob Myers. I live here in Paducah. I work by day as an engineer at a manufacturing company, and then also I'm part of the Jacob Myers Band. We get to play live music for folks and have a good time with that.
Engineer by day, rock star by night, all day.
Try to be, at least, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're going to do a coming in hot, and I'm going to ask you the same question I ask most of our musicians that come on the show. What is the most annoying thing that you have to deal with as a musician?
Man, that's a good question. Annoying. There's so many more things that are definitely beneficial being a musician, playing in a band, but the most annoying thing would probably be dealing with people who come up and, we might be playing live at a marina or something and come up and ask to play like the same song multiple times. That can be annoying because, not everybody wants to hear Cotton Eye Joe or something like that multiple times in a row, even though they want to line dance to it or something.
We were talking off camera. I'd never been around alcohol a lot until I started doing this, and man, it makes people do some crazy things. So I used to think, I know I've mentioned this before on the podcast, so people have heard me say this, but I used to think alcohol just took your inhibitions away.
Mm-hmm.
I now realize people will just do things that they may have had no desire to do before drinking. So I used to just think, oh, that's the real them, and they're just loosened up. So maybe they really are that dumb, or maybe they really have those thoughts and feelings. And now I'm like, no, I think it can influence you to do things like that you just maybe the next day would be like, oh.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I've got a good story dealing with an individual who may have had one too many to drink. So we were playing at this marina one night. It was early in the late spring, and so we've probably been playing for a couple hours and doing all the fun stuff people like at these types of events. But we got to playing the wonderful song "Sweet Caroline," and it was going great. But there was one lady who she noticed that during the bum 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 parts of that song, I wasn't actually singing it. I was trying to get the crowd to say it, when the line comes up, and she was really not happy about it. She at one point I remember her saying, like, we were getting later in the song, we're going to do that chorus again, and she was looking at me like, you better do it, or I'm gonna be really mad. So she did that a number of times. It was quite hilarious, honestly.
I always wonder what's going through somebody's head when they make it about them to that degree. Like, you better do what I'm saying. There's 150 people here and you don't know me at all, but you better do exactly what I'm saying right now. Every now and then you get one of those. I had one of those last night, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like, someone will kind of hijack the set and think that about every 10 minutes they need to come up and request something.
Right.
But, I guess the segue here, I'll say this and you can speak to it, but the common theme for a lot of the musicians is the most annoying thing that we're all dealing with is just some variation of somebody being super drunk and kind of like making it about them and hijacking the moment.
Right.
And because I've gotten some version of this from a bunch of musicians, like, people want to come up and sing, or people want to do this, and it's always alcohol is the common denominator,
right,
in every scenario. So, well, let's talk about first let's just talk about your history with playing music. What age were you when you got into music, and what was your first instrument?
So I was about 10 whenever I first started playing guitar. That was my first instrument, was acoustic guitar specifically. We were talking offline, but what really got me into it, me and the electric guitar player in my band, we played Guitar Hero growing up a lot, and we loved it. Guitar Hero, the first one, the second one's whenever that came out. It's when I really got into playing guitar. Through the Fire and Flames was on there, and we loved rocking and rolling to that. Felt like a darn expert, but it was about that time. I was probably 10 or 11 when I decided. Through that, I was like, man, it'd be really cool to actually learn how to play guitar. And then I was lucky enough that my neighbor next to my parents' house, he was a guitar teacher, and parents helped me sign me up for that, and I was off to the races.
We can name him. He probably watches.
Yeah.
We'll just say his first name. Hey, Jerry.
Yep.
He probably watches or listens. So.
Yep. I appreciate him a lot. I took about 2.5 years of teaching guitar to me with him. He was very instrumental in my, no pun intended, to my, learning guitar and doing what I do today.
Jerry is a great guy and really a local legend. I mean, there's no telling how many people he's taught to play guitar.
Yeah.
Okay, so you start that, you're about 10, you're 11-ish. And I want to say, as a side note, how many people did that game inspire?
Oh,
I mean, probably tens of thousands of American children, maybe hundreds of thousands, picked up guitar, because for about a 5-year period, that was one of the hottest things going.
Oh, yeah.
That was as big as like Call of Duty or Fortnite or anything. I mean, that was like the game.
Yep.
And I worked at Allen Music for a long time, and I kind of hit it just right. When I started working at Allen Music, that game had really blown up. And I cannot tell you how many kids signed up for lessons with me.
Yeah.
And then they would come in and be requesting stuff that was on Guitar Hero. Of course, I love when they would say Through the Fire and Flames. And I'm like, well, you have about 8 years, for me to get you there, bud.
Yep.
But anyway, so how quickly did you start playing in public? Did you play in church? Were you in the school band? When did you start performing?
So yeah, church was the first thing that I got into. So I was getting into youth group in our church. So I was, I guess, 7th grade. About 7th grade is when I got to come in and start playing acoustic guitar with our youth group. And I was pretty much off to the races with that. I played acoustic, played electric. As I grew up, I got brave enough to try singing. I come from a family of singers. My mom's a singer, and my grandma was really well known in our church, being a piano teacher. And so some of that, I knew eventually one day I would want to try singing, because I had good influence when it came to that. So I gave it a shot eventually in youth group, and it worked out. I was able to be like a leader in our youth band, and I'm very thankful for that time in my life, because musically, I learned quite a bit. Obviously, like spiritually too, through growing up with that. It was certainly an influence on my life, and it was a good time. But yeah, church, I still do that today. I eventually got to the point where I was playing in our praise band for Sunday mornings, and I'm still doing that today, and hopefully get to do that for the rest of my life. So.
Now, was it for you just kind of a natural thing that you just enjoyed singing, or did you get tired of dealing with lead singers?
No, I enjoyed singing. I was always very chicken to do so, because I didn't receive any like vocal lessons or do anything of any traditional manner. I listened to music all the time and belt in the car or the shower or whatever. And eventually I just got enough encouragement and was brave enough to try it. I remember the first night that I sang a song in front of people, and it was in a youth group event. And I can't remember the name of the song now, but I told our band leader at the time, I was like, one of these days I want to try to sing this song because it was a good song for us to sing as a youth group. And yeah, and from that point on, I was brave enough to keep at it.
For me, it was basically I didn't want to have to deal with lead singers.
Yeah.
That was it. I never even thought of myself as a singer. Everything was just guitar for me. I grew up playing piano and then started playing drums when I was like 12 and loved the drums. And then I discovered Stevie Ray Vaughan as a 13-year-old.
Oh, boy.
So then it was like, oh, guitar, that's going to be my thing. So I just thought, well, I'll just be like the greatest guitar player in the world and I'll just play guitar all the time. But then when I was probably about 20, I thought, man, I'm just tired of like somebody else showing up and like telling us all what to do. And
Yeah.
why don't I just do it? So like that was it. There was no like, I mean, I like singing now and I can't imagine not doing it now, but yeah, I'd never really even sang much until I was probably 20 years old. But, yeah. So what were your musical influences?
It's a good question. Certainly starting out was like contemporary Christian stuff growing up. That was an influence, also mixed with a little bit of like Metallica. It's a good combination. I don't remember how old I was. I was probably in junior high. My dad bought me an iPad Nano for Christmas, and I thought that was the bee's knees, man. But he downloaded a few different albums of music for me. Number one was Metallica, and I liked Metallica at that time. I was building up to my freshman year of high school being like a metalhead. That lasted about a year before I went into other genres that influenced me. But that in particular, it was that kind of music along with like Skillet. Loved Skillet. So a lot of contemporary Christian music influenced me, but I also had a rock influence that really came from like Metallica, Skillet, those pretty hard rock stuff that I probably also got through like playing Guitar Hero and whatnot. But those were my main music influences growing up. And eventually, like nowadays, country is probably my biggest influence. That's the genre I like. I probably like to play. It suits my voice probably the most. But the country these days would definitely be my favorite, along with classic rock and whatnot. But those contemporary Christian and rock and roll, hard rock were my like main influences growing up.
Do you remember what Metallica album you got?
Oh, well, I don't remember the name of it.
Would it have been the one with Enter Sandman?
It definitely had Enter Sandman on it. So it probably was. It was probably that album. And then Skillet, I remember it was the Comatose album.
Yeah, that was
on
huge.
it.
That had like the dude wrapped up and you could see his eye. Yeah.
Those were good. That time of Skillet was probably my favorite. If I go listen to Skillet today, it's going to be like the Comatose album or Awake and Alive or something like that I enjoy the most because I grew up at that time.
I have a lot of respect for those guys. Now, I don't know anything about them personally. I always have to like be careful because I would have said the same thing about 4 or 5 months ago about Michael Tate, and now all that stuff came out because he was always my favorite in DC Talk. He was probably my favorite Christian vocalist. Him and K Max from DC Talk. But I think it's incredible what Skillet's been able to do, because I remember when Alien Youth was like their big thing in maybe the late 90s, early 2000s, and I remember there was a very like homemade looking video that used to come on late on Saturday nights on the Christian channel, and then they morphed into basically mainstream hard rock. Like there were people listening to Skillet that did not listen to Christian music whatsoever, and they just played, I think, in Marion maybe 2 or 3 months ago, and they're still killing it, dude. But they continue to morph, they continue to like evolve and stay relevant. And I mean, John, the lead singer's got to be in his 50s, but he doesn't come across as like a guy that's been in the game for 25 years. He seems relevant now. So I have a lot of respect for them. I do have a quick, funny little story about Metallica.
Yeah.
So I grew up Pentecostal. We weren't supposed to be listening to any of the stuff we're talking about, other
Yeah.
than Skillet would have been okay.
Right.
Well, okay. That was half the church was divided on that too. The old people hated Christian rock.
Right.
But anyways, I was like 11 years old, and I was in my first band. I was one of the younger people in the band, but our drummer was the oldest. He was like 15. And shout out to Jeremy. I doubt Jeremy watches or listens, but shout out to Jeremy.
Yeah.
But my cousin Jackie and Jeremy were like two of the older kids that I was kind of around, and they were both about 4 years older than me.
Mhm.
And so I was just hanging out with Jeremy one time, and my cousin Jackie was there. We went to shoot pool at somebody's house, and they put on the Black Album by Metallica. And so I heard the song Inner Sandman for the first time.
Yeah.
And at that age, it sounded like Satan worship. Like, I mean, because I'd never
Right.
heard anything that was heavy. And so I remember asking my cousin Jackie, I was like, are we supposed to be listening to this? And he goes, I still remember this. He goes, yeah, man, these guys are Christians in their own way.
Oh boy.
And then he's like, they're anti-war and stuff. And so I still remember that. These guys are Christians in their own way.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, are we supposed to be listening to this? But yeah, they're phenomenal.
Yeah.
And again, the same type of thing. I mean, I've never seen them live, but people go watch them now, and they're like in their 60s. And
Right.
people are like, dude, they're killing it still. They're great. As far as other Christian music, what were some of your big like Christian influences?
So Chris Tomlin, definitely. He's like probably the biggest name in Christian contemporary music, modern contemporary music. But him, Dave Crowder, before he became Crowder. So when it was David Crowder band, and he had like the Guitar Hero guitar that was like mixed to be like sound like a real guitar and all that stuff. Like those two guys were probably some of the biggest influences. Stephen Curtis Chapman, he's definitely been an influence of mine. There's a few others I can't think of off the top of my head, but those three guys I know I listened to like a lot growing up. And like Tomlin's written or done either done renditions or written so many songs that are good congregational like worship songs for us at our church. So I've played so many songs by him for our church, and it's he obviously has had a big impact. But Crowder, he's always been in interesting genre styles, like growing up, but he was a fun one to listen to.
Yeah, he definitely has like a unique vocal delivery and stuff too, like very distinct. Other rock artists besides Metallica, you mentioned classic rock. Do you have any favorites or big influences?
Yeah, I mean Stevie Ray Vaughan definitely is up there. Bob Seger, Leonard Skinner, all like the classic guys. Like those guys have definitely influenced me, and I mean we play that stuff as in our band. Those are the type of music that everybody likes. So we play a lot of them. And growing up, I've listened to that a lot. I will say, like in my freshman year of high school, after listening to like a lot of Metallica and Skillet, I did get into like a more hard rock phase. So I was listening to like Bullet for My Valentine and Avenged Sevenfold. Me and our lead guitar player Matt, me and him got really into some of that stuff, and A Day to Remember. And I was big into those guys for a while before I tried other genres. But yeah, I would say for some of the classic Guns N' Roses too, of course. Like those are some guys that I've listened to a lot.
Now, country. Are you like old country guy, like new country? Do you kind of like it all? Do you have favorite country artists?
I'm a little bit of a mix, probably. I would tend towards some older country music, but like really, I would say my favorites, like country's so weird and hard to define these days, but like country music that was going on in the early 2000s to mid 2000s is probably my favorite. Like Rascal Flatts is my all-time favorite band these days. Like but they were so interesting in country music too, because they, they're not like Hank Williams Jr., but they're not super modern. At least in their older stuff, they weren't super modern, but their arrangements musically are some of the most impressive in my opinion when it comes to them being in country music. And they have excellent harmonies. They do this. The way they do their music is my favorite.
What's that guy's name? Is it Gary Laveau?
Gary Laveau. Yeah,
That guy's got an incredible voice.
I don't know how he does it. Anytime if we do a Rascal Flatts song, well, I just let my wife sing it because she can, because he's singing in like a female register almost.
Yeah, he's
but
incredible.
But yeah, that's probably my all-time favorite band. But I would go from like them down towards like outlaw country. I like outlaw country and the stories that you get from. That's really, I think, where I drifted towards, is the stories that you can get from country music that are just, they seem more unique to me, and that has intrigued me.
I love it. There's a lot of like cookie cutter, just hokey. I feel like a 15-year-old wrote this modern country. But I will say, like, when you talk about rock, people make fun of Nickelback. They call that butt rock. Well, Nickelback's probably better than 95% of the musicians we know. I mean, let's be honest. They're good at what they do. They don't suck. I understand it's a certain kind of commercial music, and of course it's recorded to make money, but don't most people go to their job to make money? I mean,
right.
But with country, now people be like, I don't like that Morgan Wallen crap. I don't like that. Like, they mix hip hop. I actually do like it, and I do get what's going on. I understand that that's, again, it's meant to hit the mass audience. It's a money-making machine. I get it. But man, whoever's putting those songs together is a talented producer.
No doubt.
And he's a great vocalist. The guy can sing. Like,
absolutely.
So I enjoy that. And then, of course, there's guys like Chris Stapleton who are more of a traditional, powerhouse, 10 out of 10 vocalist. I love 90s country and early 2000s. Oh, man.
Like Jody Messina.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of stuff from her I love. Toby Keith and Tim McGraw. Those are guys those are definitely people I love. And I think a part of, to comment a little bit on like the modern style of country music now, that's really like a contemporary type country is what I see. But it's a way for people to get into music now. You're probably guaranteed to make some money on it if you follow that model, because it's working. And then eventually, if you get a footing, you can go do more things that might be more useful. Get a platform and get footed in.
Yeah, people are always going to complain, and I find it funny when you'll see people say things like, I miss Waylon, I miss Willie, man, I miss, Johnny Paycheck, I miss outlaw country.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you realize how formulaic like Johnny Cash, love him. Grew up listening to him. My grandparents listened to that. My parents listened to a lot of 70s country when I was a kid and a lot of Southern gospel. But, I mean, I could play you a Johnny Cash song. And then we could skip to the next track.
Maybe a different key or something.
Yeah, and then the next track. And it's always like a talk kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was stealing parts and to build my own car or whatever. And like, at some point, it's like, okay, man, this is formulaic as well. And then, like, I feel like about every other Hank Williams Jr. song is about being Hank Williams Jr.
Right.
So partying, they can't do it like me. I'm real country. He's got to talk about his dad. Don't compare me to my dad, but I'm going to mention him in every song.
Right.
So I just find it funny that people get, like, upset about formulaic modern pop country when I'm like, when has it not been formulaic to some degree?
No doubt.
I love the 90s because I feel like the subject matter of the songs was way better and the writing was better lyrically. But even that, I mean, if you've heard 2 or 3 Alan Jackson songs, you've heard about 75% of the riffs and the arrangement of the music. It's not like there's these lush arrangements and, whatever. So in your band,
Mhm.
Do you guys incorporate all of these styles? Do you, you mentioned you guys play a lot of the favorites like classic rock, and then you do things like Sweet Caroline, but are you guys covering country music? Do you play Christian songs?
So we definitely cover country. It depends on the occasion, but we'll cover some gospels music or something like that. Not on every occasion do we do that. It just depends. But in a regular setting, if we're playing, pipers or something like that here in town, we'll play. What I like to say is we'll play anything from Maroon 5 to Hank Williams Jr. So we pride ourselves on trying to play multiple genres, hit multiple people in a crowd, so that everybody is going to like something that they hear. But literally, we play Payphone by Maroon 5. We'll play like Shut Up and Dance.
Oh yeah.
And then we have plenty of country that we play. Country and rock and roll is probably like our sweet spot, just because of what we all like, and then what our skills are suited best for. But we try to hit everything when it comes to a gig, just so we can make everybody enjoy the atmosphere and they get to hear something that they want to hear.
So you're leading worship on a regular basis.
Mhm.
Do you stay pretty current with like modern worship music too? Do you kind of know, like the like Phil Wickham was a guy that was real big when I was leading worship, which would be 8 years ago, probably. And so he was real big. Do you keep current on that and try to incorporate like new worship songs into the church services?
Yeah, we definitely will do that, and Phil Wickham is definitely an influence on some of the stuff we sing at church. There's some other modern groups, Elevation Worship, there's probably a few songs that they've at least covered, that we do versions of, and we try to do a pretty good mix between keeping some really good lyrically rich gospel music within our congregational worship time, and then mix it up with some things that might be more contemporary that give a different feel, because our church, we've got a really big church, and it's multi-generational. So there's so many people who have different likes and different things that make them feel at home or feel led in their time for worship. But yeah, we mix it up. We try to stay up to date to what's out there, because that's a world that's ever evolving too.
Absolutely. And I do want to say, up to this point, a lot of the musicians that would listen to the podcast probably can identify with everything we've been talking about. If you've never experienced the challenge of worship leading, it is truly a challenge, because imagine playing in a bar, you got a 3-hour set. Well, people are accustomed to, like in your case, they know, well, these guys play a lot of different kinds of music. Maybe I won't like the next 2 songs, but then I might like the next 5.
Right.
In church, you may get 4 songs a Sunday, and it is very hard, especially when you have a multi-generational church, to make sure that everyone stays engaged. And then the primary function's a lot different. It's not to entertain. There is an aspect of that. You want to be interesting. There's an aspect of, we want to offer our best to God, so we want to be great musicians, because why wouldn't we be?
Sure.
This is an offering. But the focus is to try to get everyone together to worship God.
Yeah.
And so when you have folks who may be 80 years old that are used to singing hymns, and then you've got a youth group and they're listening to Phil Wickham,
Right.
that is a tremendous challenge, because you don't get 3 hours to win everybody over. You get about 20 minutes. And then also what you're attempting to do is of a higher nature than just entertain people. So
Absolutely.
that is a challenge.
No doubt.
And I have a lot of respect for like worship pastors, and then just pastors in general, who, we all know that there's been cases of crooked pastors. Of course, that's in everything. But man, people that are there for the right reasons, that is a very challenging position.
No doubt. no doubt. It's hard. It is definitely hard to keep, keep everybody for one happy, but two, like, make them feel like they're a part of this together. Because that's, I mean, it's a corporate worship time, not for necessarily, obviously, to worship ourselves or what we're doing, but we're worshiping God during that time. So finding ways to make everybody feel like they're welcome to do that is difficult. It is very difficult.
Absolutely. So you're multifaceted. You're very well-rounded. Your band, are any of your band members like on the worship team at church with you?
Yeah. So our bass player, Matt Buchanan, he is actively involved in the worship team. Whether it's he plays bass sometimes, he's played mandolin before if we've had arrangements for that. He's multifaceted, so he'll also is on the tech team sometimes, doing like screens or sound or whatever. My wife Jana, she sing like if we have multiple worship leaders that help actually lead the worship at our church. We have one like music director, music pastor who arranges everything for us, but then we have a few worship leaders. She joins me usually if I'm leading worship to sing. And then there's our drummer is involved at his church in a music capacity at church. So we're all honestly pretty influenced by church because we've all either grown up together playing at church or being involved in some way.
So you guys are friends, obviously, outside of playing music, but you also have that faith connection.
Yep.
So let's say I come to a Jake Myers Band concert tomorrow night. What can I expect to see and hear? And you just told me some of your band members, but go ahead and tell me again who's in the band and what they play, and then maybe what a typical set looks like for you guys.
So we'll start with the members. We've got our drummer, Austin Gwill. He is like the life of the party, honestly. So we've gotten into playing weddings a lot. That's really the space we probably have the most fun in. And whether we're playing live music or if we switch to doing like a DJ thing, he's the life of the party. He's the MC. He's a good time. Lead guitar player, there's Matt Clafer. Me and him have grown up together, and I mentioned him earlier that me and him have played guitar together for a long time. Good friend of mine. And Matt Buchanan, one of my best friends. We've also, us three, between me and both Matts, have played in youth group. We've grown up playing a lot of music together. But Matt Buchanan, he's the bass player. And then there's Jana, my wife. She's the powerhouse vocalist. She's played with a number of people. There's a fella named Steve Hornbeek up in Anna who she's been able to play with a lot, and he's a fantastic musician. She's learned a lot from great people, anyway, she's one of the lead singers in our band. But a regular night at a Jake Myers Band event, whatever it is, whether it's a private event or something that's public, you're gonna come and have a fun time. You're gonna dance probably, because we like playing some like 80s funk music. That's like, people love to hear them play that funky music sometimes. So we'll play some stuff like that. You may want to dance and have a good time that way. We'll slow it down and do like slow dance style music, and we have some more intimate times, and we'll do our best to involve the crowd in ways, or at least make them feel like they're welcomed to do whatever it is they want to do, whether it's sit around and have fun and chit chat with one another, or come up and dance and give requests. We've been, as time's gone on, we've gotten better at taking requests because we're getting better as musicians. And so that's probably the paramount thing. We want the people who are here to listen, enjoy it, so that they come back again and they can remember their time.
And we are going to be having the Jake Myers Band at Paducah Beer Works on Monday night, September 29th. You guys are going to be playing after Carson Denfit. And I got to tell you, man, we're really excited about this. First, I want to thank you because you guys are donating your time. In fact, all of the MPower Paducah musicians donate their time. And we're going to be raising money for veterans. We're going to be raising money for local children. So I am very excited about you guys being able to do this. I'm very appreciative that you've been able to carve out time on a Monday night.
Yeah.
You know, you work all day. You've got children, correct?
Mhm.
So that's not an easy thing to do on a school night or a weeknight. So I really appreciate that. Now I'm going to ask this, and I'm sure this is probably similar to what you just said, but what can people expect to hear on Monday night?
So a lot of what I probably said, you'll probably hear, or you'll see something similar. We'll, you know, with the time that we're playing, we'll bring out all the big stuff people love to hear. And we are just a cover band. We don't have any original music. We haven't dove into that space quite yet. But you know, everybody's gonna have a good time. They're gonna feel welcomed. They're gonna want to dance, maybe. They're going to sit back and enjoy Matt Clayfer shredding the guitar if we're playing "Sweet Child of Mine" or something like that, and or Jana as we sing that song, or sing some other rock and roll song that's super powerful. You'll hopefully be moved by some of the music that we'll play, and it'll be fun. I think we've been able to play enough to where we're confident that we can provide a good time for people as they come watch us.
I'm really looking forward to it. And remember, guys, there is a $10 cover. All the bands are donating their time. Paducah Beer Works is donating a lot of resources just to give us a venue. But we split all of that money every month, 50-50. We go to Starfish here in Paducah and just ask every month, what is your biggest need of something that would be affecting area children? The last few months, they've told me we need help building beds. So we're going to use this money this month for materials to build beds for families that don't have them. And then the other 50%, we use the We Care, We Share Foundation. And we typically get a profile of a veteran. That's usually in Southern Illinois. We don't ask for their name. We want it to be anonymous, but we get what branch of the service they were in and what their need is. And usually we're given a need that costs between $500 and $1,000 that we can meet for a veteran. So that's where all the money's going. And Jake and his bandmates, as well as Carson Denfip, they've donated their time. So make sure you guys come out Monday night, this next Monday, September 29th, and listen to them. You will not be disappointed. I want to end our discussion by asking two things. First, where can people find you guys? Do you have social media pages? Where can they find your schedule, etc.?
Yeah, anything and everything related to the Jake Myers Band, you'll find on Facebook. So we've got a Facebook. We stay pretty active. Any events we got going on, we're putting there on that Facebook page. Like we've got this event that Corey has graciously invited us to be a part of on September 29th. We've got a couple of festivals we're playing in October in Southern Illinois. One, October 4th, is in Harrisburg at the Sasquatch Festival. And then October 11th, the Color Fest, that's in Anna, Illinois. So both of those are Saturdays. We play somewhere around midday on both of those days, but those are upcoming events. Any other events that you want to see if we're being a part of, you can find on that Facebook page, the Jake Myers Band.
And go ahead and spell Myers for people.
Yeah, that's a good point. M-Y, the correct way, M-Y-E-R-S.
Like Michael.
Yes, exactly. Unfortunately, exactly like Michael.
We discussed my collection of Michael Myers dolls a few weeks ago. My accountant came on, and don't ask me how that came up. I think we were talking about what happens if I don't pay my taxes. And she has set me up as a corporation. I'm an LLC. And one of her selling points to me was like, you know, if stuff really goes sideways, you get sued, they're not going to come take your personal stuff. It's just going to be, you know, whatever business stuff. And so I had said, oh, cool, they can't come take my Michael Myers dolls. And then she said, you have Michael Myers dolls? And we got off in this 5-minute discussion.
That's awesome.
But next question.
Yeah.
What are you most looking forward to? And it could be music. It could be as a father, as a husband, as a Christian. anything. What are you most looking forward to in life at this current moment?
That's a good question. I don't know, like my faith is certainly probably paramount in my life. I'd be remiss to say that I'm most looking forward to the service that I can provide at my local church as a leader, as a deacon, as influence that I can have, not for myself, but for God and for our church. I look forward to that throughout, my whole life. For this band, I'm honestly surprised we've been able to keep playing. We've been together about 6 years now. It's gone through a couple different configurations, but we're adults with day jobs, with kids or multiple kids, and we're still making this happen because we enjoy the time together that we have, and we enjoy playing music because it's been a part of our life for so long. So, like I mentioned earlier, weddings. Weddings are probably the most fun thing we get to do as a band, just because there's not much more magical times than your wedding night, and those are probably the most fun that we have. We get to plan with the bride and the groom. We get to provide a service for them that hopefully that's going to be rememberable for the rest of their life. And so we definitely feel like we had the most impact. But for our band, things like that, any music event we could say, but hopefully we can keep doing it. So it's our fun hobby that we get to enjoy on Friday, Saturday nights, every once in a while. Those are probably the two biggest things I'm looking forward to.
And if folks want to book you, do they go to the Jake Myers Band Facebook page and message you that way, or is there like an email address or a number they need to send requests to?
Yeah, going to the Facebook page is probably the easiest. We do have some business cards and whatnot, but I would probably say going to the Facebook page, the Jake Myers Band, and sending us a message. We can provide other forms of communication through that if we need to, but that's going to be the easiest. We actively look at that and keep up with it, so we'd be happy to look into that if anybody finds interest or needs a service.
You guys have been making some noise now I became aware of you probably 3 or 4 years ago. I've heard nothing but good things. I do not know your wife, but I know Steve. Were they in a band called Skyline Drive?
Yes.
So yep. I remember them performing. So I've known of Janet for a while. And then, probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I started hearing your name a lot, and I've heard nothing but good things. And I've just appreciated this time hanging out with you today. We had just a good discussion before we hit record. It was a lot of fun just getting to know you more. And I cannot thank you enough for you guys being willing to donate time and put forth a lot of effort to try to help children and veterans. So there were no questions asked. As soon as we, told you guys we needed a band and we really wanted you to come play for every reason I just said, your reputation and the kind of work you do, you just said, sign us up, man. We want to be a part of this. So absolutely. We thank you. You are our first MPower Paducah artist we featured on the podcast. So thank you for making time today to do this. And thank you for volunteering to come play Monday night.
Absolutely. We appreciate it too, Corey. Thank you very much.
God bless you. And I will see you on Monday, Jake.
Sweet. Sounds good, man.
All right, guys. Well, we have had a great episode today. I want to thank Foster Stacy. First of all, just for being who he is. Everything I said about Foster is true, but it came from my heart. He is a guy that is always looking to help me. He's always looking to help other musicians, and he's always looking to make an impact in our community. And it has been a joy partnering with him for MPower Paducah. And we are very excited. We want all of you to come out on Monday night, this upcoming Monday, September 29th. We really want you to take part in what we're trying to build in our community. And then also Jake Myers. That was a great discussion today with Jake. I really enjoyed getting to know him a little better. I've been hearing about Jake and the Jake Myers Band for a long time, but I've never really had the opportunity to just talk with him and learn about his life and about his musical journey. So that was a joy. And man, we are excited about him and his band playing on Monday night. Also, we have Carson Denfip starting the show on Monday. I know Carson very well. He's a good friend of mine. He is super talented. So Monday night, Paducah Beer Works. You do not want to miss this. Monday, September 29th. The doors open at 6:30. There is a $10 cover charge. And again, 50% of that, half of all that money we take in, will go to help area children and families. And we are just going to Starfish in Paducah every month and asking, what is your biggest need in this community right now in terms of something that's going to impact the lives of children? And so they tell me what they need that month, and then we have our concert, and I take half the money the next day to Starfish and say, apply this to what we just talked about. And then as far as the other 50%, it goes to an area veteran. We are using the We Care, We Share Foundation that is operated by our good friend Celia Robertson, and we are getting a profile of a different veteran every month. We a lot of times don't get their name, but we get their location, what branch of the service they were in, and what county they live in, and then what their need is. And usually these needs can be met for under $1,000. So we've been able to take care fully meet the needs of the last two veterans we were trying to help. So that's where the money's going. Area children, area veterans. We're using Starfish in Paducah, and we're using We Care, We Share in Southern Illinois. So come out, watch Carson Denfip, watch the Jake Myers Band, introduce yourself to Foster, tell him thank you for everything he's doing in the community. And yeah, let's have a good time. Let's help some folks that can't help themselves, and let's enjoy some tremendous music. Before I sign off today, let me tell you about our sponsors. Now, I just mentioned Celia Robertson. She runs the We Care, We Share Foundation. She is very passionate about helping veterans. She is also extremely passionate about getting you or a loved one into your forever home or helping you sell your home. Celia owns House to Home Realty in Southern Illinois. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, contact House to Home. And not only do they have a stellar reputation amongst their clients, but you can feel good about supporting Celia's company because she is always looking for ways to support our community and to help the veterans. And remember, Metropolis Music and Media. My great friend, Toby Glass, runs that company. Toby keeps everything running smooth on this podcast, keeps us looking good, sounding good every week, does a great job editing things. Toby put together that edit for the MPower Paducah promotional video that you saw earlier in the episode. And he is very active in the community. He does a lot of stuff at church. He's always looking to help churches and schools. So Toby is your guy. If you have any media needs, contact Metropolis Music and Media. Now, before I sign off, I am going to tell you the MPower Paducah schedule for the rest of the year. So again, Monday night, we've got Carson Denfip and then the Jake Myers Band. In October, we have Kristen Kearns and my new band, Corey Evitts and Revolver, will be playing at MPower Paducah. I believe that's October 27th. And then November 24th, we have Late July, and we have the Solid Rocket Boosters. So that is our lineup through the end of the year. We will not be having an MPower event in December because it will be the week of Christmas. So we've got 3 more shows this year. So next Monday, September 29th, and then October 27th and November 24th. And lastly, speaking of my new band, we are making our home debut tomorrow, September 26th. Corey Evitts and Revolver. We are playing the Barbecue on the River event from 8:30 to 10. So come out, support us. We had 2 shows last weekend, worked out some of the jitters because we've never really performed in public together until last weekend. But yes, we are headlining our home festival of Barbecue on the River tomorrow night, 8:30 to 10. Come out and support us. Well, guys, I live a blessed life. I get to commingle and work alongside of the real rock stars, people like Toby, people like Foster, people like Celia. So even though I'm not a rock star, I get to have these great friends and work alongside of them in our community. And I also get to talk to the real rock stars on this podcast. So tune in next week when I talk to a true rock star, Representative Patrick Windhorse. And remember, even though I'm not a rock star, because of you guys, I get to live a very rock and roll life. I'll see you guys next week.